did you see the tapes released about January 6th? Have you seen them? So the House just got all the videotapes released, and they gave the videos to Tucker. Have you seen them? Dude, it's insane. You know the dude with the horns?
I saw that.
He was being guided by fucking police the whole time.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And then he did a prayer in the fucking main room with police officers for them. I'm like, dude, that is not like a guy that deserves 4 years.
Is that what he
the shit out of him? 4 fucking years, dude.
That's crazy. Well, so I know he pleaded guilty.
Are you guys talking about?
Yeah, he was guilty.
Yeah, so I know he pleaded guilty. So I know
for sure because they were charging him with breaching the Capitol. We can't deny that.
You know, they lost credibility when they gave it to Tucker. Like,
well, not if he releases a lot of it. Do you know if you like just clip it
after?
But the thing is, Tucker's clipping it like they clipped it. They clipped all the stuff that looked bad. Tucker's releasing all the stuff that looks good. But just to see that he was guided by cops, dude, that's crazy.
I definitely think there's more to the story, like always. You know what I mean? But like, Dominion, right? Remember that like voting company?
Yeah. They're suing the fuck out of someone.
They're suing them for $1.6 billion.
As they should. That was bullshit.
Like Fox is fucked.
They threw their name in the gutter for no fucking reason. They didn't have the evidence.
In court, you know, Tucker's own lawyers have claimed, like, look, like, you shouldn't take anything this guy says as truth. It's all supposed to be like entertainment. Like nothing he says is true.
Who, Tucker?
So, yeah.
See, I think.
And so, like,
videos
after that,
right?
I was like, man, like, this guy's just, he doesn't care. You know, like some people just want the world down. He doesn't care, like, the repercussions. It's all about, like, him personally benefiting.
Yeah, see, I don't care what he says. I saw the videos, and that is not what they told us happened.
Right. So exactly. And, you know, and I haven't been paying attention enough to the specifics behind everything. You know, you always know that there's more than they release to the public.
For sure.
That's like, you know, like.
I always say there's two sides of the story and then the truth.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's a good way to put it. Do I think 100% of January 6th was FBI agent provocateurs in Antifa? No. That's
but
crazy.
Were they there? Yeah.
Were they there? Probably. Just like they're like everything. Do you know what I mean?
Like the BLM riots, right? Do I think like all the BLM riots? Do I think the FBI had something to do with it?
I just think like it's been super cool and interesting to see a lot of people get woken up to the fact of like how the government like runs shit and how they actually do things. Because like they haven't changed. You know what I mean? None of this is like because the current guy is president or because the last guy was president.
This is how it's always
always been this way. And like dorks like me who've been paying attention for a long time are like what are you all like surprised about? And a lot of people
where you're
believe you're lying? Like,
for you're like, that's why I don't pick a party. That's why I'm not like a Republican or Democrat, because I know they're all corrupt and I know the government's gross.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you believe they're lying? Oh my God. Who would have thought they would ever lie to us?
You know what I mean? Like,
what do you guys
like? No, he can't. No. You know, talk to us. Wait, hold on. How is Parker?
Yeah, talk to us about Parker. Yeah, Chris, how was Parker?
It was good, man. It was a little like the
Where'd you land? Where'd you land? How'd it go?
Well, I got in at 6:50 a.m.
Okay, wow, that's pretty early. Jesus.
Yeah, it sucked. I actually did have to wake up at like 3:30. It was horrible.
You landed at Dallas, Fort Worth?
No, Vegas, baby.
Oh, Vegas. That's right.
Yeah. So it was like the guest speakers, like the Ed Milet's, Tim Tebow's. Those two crushed it.
Sure.
They were amazing. And then the first seminar I went into, there was this
who's
girl.
The first guy before Tim Tebow? Was it that like fucking
Ed Milet,
business guy?
Ed Milet.
He's like
he wrote The Power of One More. He's like a Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
He just actually had Tony Robbins on his podcast. They're good buddies.
Oh, cool.
He has a really good podcast. The Power of One More is actually really good. That's my 75 hard book I'm reading right now. I work
with Tony Robbins is like number one guy out here in the Midwest. It's pretty awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, it's badass. But the first seminar I went into was this girl talking about mulligan taping. Sure. that like tense. It was awesome. I learned like a sick new tape job for a roll of end gold that I never even thought of. And then a really cool tape job for like that tibialis posterior. Like and I had a patient who came in with a bad strain of that softball player. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm going to do that. And then everything else was shit.
Really?
the Cairo up guy was good.
Dude, this is why I love Chris, because Chris always fucking like is real.
Well, they weren't like, it's not like they were bad docs, or it's not like they were bad speakers. It was just raw. And I'm not there for that. Like, I'm there for you to kind of open up my mind, to get me to try new things, that give me a way that you evaluate, or a rehab you do for a back, like something I'm missing, something that I could go home and be like, oh my God, I need that. Like do case studies and then show me how you use this technique. And it was all like, just look at how awesome we are, and this is so much fun to be in this profession. It was, I don't know, it was a pretty big bummer.
Had a guy that came in, his leg was a quarter inch short.
Yeah.
Left.
Pulled up a quarter inch on the right.
Even.
Yeah, it was the Cairo up guy was really good.
Was it Brandon?
It was the older one.
Oh, okay.
So not Brandon. Red Brandon's the young blood. Yeah, it was the older one. He had some great, like, he talked about research, and he talked about rehab, and he gave you like try this. This is the, he talked like glute med strength. It was a little basic, but I think there's, it's that like, there's people that you might just be like, hey, you probably have a weak hip, so let's start there. Right? Like, I can't even get you to go on a walk. Maybe I can get you to do some one leg exercises to strengthen your hips out a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's that, like, I mean, it's kind of, to me, seemed like old rehab evidence, but it was still something. And there's a market of people for that. But he was really good. I liked it. I keep wanting to go back to that Cairo up
it's a good
program,
system.
But
yeah,
it's hard.
But did you go to Coop's talk?
No, it was the same time as Kelly Starrett, and he was not good. He was, he's on this like rampage of, let's change the world. Let's get into classrooms and help people that way. And it was more of like, nothing to take home, but maybe that he had like a 4-part seminar, and I only watched the first one, and I was like, not for me. So I went to a few other guys, and then you had to pay for some that looked good. Like, there was a girl who did some gut stuff that you had to pay for, and I didn't know that, and you couldn't pay the time of. So that was a little shitty. Yeah. But Ed Milet had everyone in the freaking crowd crying. It was crazy. And then Tim Tebow went pretty hard, but told some cool stories. He was hilarious, but didn't get too gaudy on you. He always goes super religious, where it's a little like makes me uncomfortable. But he was he killed it. But yeah, I don't know. They need a little bit more education, not like look at how cool I am. Yeah, that gave me some shit to take home.
Will Morgan or whatever.
What?
Did you meet Bill Morgan or Will Morgan?
No. Was he there? Was he speaking?
He puts it on.
Yeah, he's
I think I know. I think he spoke a few times.
Yeah.
But I didn't talk to him.
Shaved head.
Dude, one of my favorite parts of it is the vendors, man. The vendors area is sick.
Was it good?
Like, I just think, I'm like, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. It's like all these massage chairs and all these little things, like massagers and programs to help with rehab, programs to help with hiring employees.
Were you going in looking to get a Shockwave?
Well, I actually talked to the rep over the phone, and he said, yeah. Well, I forget. It's not the fucking the Shockwave I bought actually, which is kind of sad. This guy put in work to get me. He did real good, and then I went over there and I did it the Shockwave, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy that. I'll hit you up Monday when I get back in my office. And then the difference in that Shockwave, there's just two types. One has percussion, right? So it has that like impulse going in, but also a percussion to it. And I didn't like that because I feel like patients are going to be like, you're treating me with percussion, right? Yeah. And I don't want them. That's not the point. That's not what I'm trying to do. This Shockwave, you don't feel anything unless you go over that part of the tissue. Like you just hear a click. And I remember, my patellar tendon, right? He putting it over my knee, and I'm like, this is a scam. Like I don't feel shit. And then he went right over that spot of my patellar tendon, and it felt like a really bad toothache. And I was like, oh my God, what a cool way to diagnose where the damage is or where the injury is.
Yeah.
Or the problem is. It was cool. And then, you keep it on there for 30 seconds, the pain would dissipate. And then he's like working around my knee, and he angles it under my patella. And I was like, oh, that's the worst. And he's like, you have like chondromalacia? And I was like, yeah. Like, what the fuck? This thing's badass.
That's awesome.
After that and talking to the guys, I was pretty convinced I was going to buy it. And then I had I'm not going to do it. I'm not spending $25,000.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
I ended up pulling the trigger. I think it'll be fun to have.
I think the Shockwaves are pretty good.
We'll see. Just let me trial it, and I'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
I trialed it
with a laser. Do you have any thoughts on how you're going to use it in conjunction, or are you going to use it separately?
I'll probably go. I don't know, man. I've been like, when I use laser when I needle people, and then for car accidents. That's it, really. I don't know that it's a game changer for me in there. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have many scenarios where I laser someone only, and they're like, "This is amazing. I feel great." I've had it a couple times, but a lot of time I'm doing so much with the laser, it's hard to tell if it was the laser.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You always combine treatments with laser.
Yeah, and then I'm giving them exercises and right. And,
like, how could you not? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, well, I really want to know what helps best, so we're gonna do a process of elimination.
Yeah. 3 visits with the laser, 3 visits with needling, 3 visits with adjustment.
Right.
Yeah, no. I just do it all. It doesn't take long.
Make it feel good. So here's everything.
But I'd say I'll probably use the laser for an inflammatory conditions, right? Like, maybe some disc pain, car accidents, sprain strains, things like that.
So, like, personally speaking, I've had actually, this is funny. I had a laser rep come out to my office to sell me a laser, and I was super interested in buying a laser because, like, both of you guys experience with lasers, Joe at your previous clinic and Chris at your laser. And I was like, yeah, man, I'd love it, and I got this like left low back thing, which, now I know is a disc. And he worked it, and it was like 11:30 right before lunchtime. And he came over and he like showed me how to work it. I worked it on one patient, and then he worked it on me, and then he left, and then I left to go home to walk my dog, eat lunch, walk my dog, and then go back to work. And he worked it on me, and I went home, and I was crippled I had to cancel my afternoon. Like, it was it was so bad. Like, he completely
a bunch of inflammation,
inflamed and made worse my left low back. And so, like, have you ever had
what watt was it?
What's that?
What watt was it?
The 15, I think.
Yeah, that's the one I wish I would have got. Nah, I don't know, man. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I've never done it to someone.
It was so bad. Not only like did I not get the laser, but I was like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, Maddie.
Hi. All right, go see mommy. I love you. Yeah. I've never had that happen. You know, like I've had me where I adjusted someone with a hot disc, and I'm like, that was a mistake. They can't stand up for 2 minutes. And I'm like, let's laser you to see if that helps. Oops.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never had it flare up someone like that. I don't know.
Me either. I never saw that.
Okay. Maybe I have like flared people up sometimes, and I, assumed it was the adjustment, not the laser. And maybe it was the laser. I don't know.
I also think there probably has something to do with like inferior tissue strength.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I think it's like if it's like stringy and beef jerky, like
built like a noodle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's probably not the best choice. It's a little too powerful for someone.
That's right.
All that near infrared light and red light.
Yeah, maybe I should stick to aqua therapy and infrared light.
Yeah, and morning walks for 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Morning walks for overall strength.
Yeah.
That's
a great idea.
What do you guys think about staying in your situation or going bigger?
Oh, I was just talking to a patient about that today. I think I don't know. I have like he messed with me. He was like, okay, so why'd you become like a sole business owner? Like you wanted to own your own thing, all those things. Like, yeah. He's like, but you want money too. I'm like, yes, for sure. He's like, do you want more? I was like, that doesn't sound bad to me. Of course, my bank account is definitely not full enough by any means. And he's like, well, then how do you plan on scaling when you get there? He's like, because he's seen other chiros go through it, and he had his input where he thought like some chiropractors like do a bad job implementing a new person into the system and making it work for them and like the person that's running the business. Like you have to like take on this new role of like, you are now a leader for this person. How are you going to inspire this guy to, grow and all these things, but yet also feel like they are being taken care of and not being taken advantage of by any means, right? So it was interesting. I don't know. I told him that I know that there's going to be a point where I'm going to become too busy to even get like new patients in, and that's a problem.
Yeah. So what do you do at that point? Do you raise your price or do you scale? Because if the goal is just money, raising your price or scaling is an option, right? Sure. Those are your two options. If your goal is money, but your goal is not only money, right? It might be freedom.
Yeah.
So if your goal is money and freedom, then you scale, because freedom comes only when you have associates working for you. You're making money while you're out of the office, right?
Yep.
And that's like so if it's just money, I don't think scaling is going to do it. I don't think it'd be better than just raising your price.
Yeah. So, that's
right.
I told him that I'm going to be at the point where for me, I have a number in my head where I'm like, that's where I want my business to be in regards to how much it costs to come see me. I was like, so I'm building to that point. So when I do start to get too busy, now I lose, 5 to 10% of people potentially every time I'll do a X amount of dollar jump to get to the number that I want to get to.
Yeah. But do you just want that, or do you want freedom?
Well, I would like both. So once I'm at that point, and
then you have to scale.
Now I'm busy enough, I would bring someone in and try to build them up and figure out ways to keep them there.
Is that Damir?
No, Joe was talking about raising his prices.
Yeah, I'm gonna go price raise originally.
No, so
Joe, yeah. Is it the next month Joe's raising his prices?
Yeah. Has it been a month?
Quite a few. But you know what? Like my tail off, like when it comes to like my patients, like I don't tend to lose very many people, and most of the times they tend to come back. So yeah, and plus, I kind of shot myself in the foot when I first got here in regards to like my prices and where I thought I was valued and how I made my price judgment. I was like, I made stupid decisions, you know. I was looking at the other guys around me and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do it like this, and I was really dumb.
Yeah. So what we were talking about, Damir, is like, you know, when you get to this thing where you're maxed out or you're growing to a point where you have to make the decision whether to change your prices or scale, right? And if your goal is just money, then changing your prices is probably a better option, right? But if your goal is money and a certain level of freedom, where you know you have associates, you have money being made in the office when you're not there, then your move is to scale. But when you scale, you had a lot more stress in your life, right? There's pros and cons to everything.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I hesitate leaving, you know, a simple life to scale, and then I complicate things with employees, with overhead, with fear, with that kind of stuff. But it's the only way you get to a point where you're making money when you're not in your office. You're able to help more people. You're able to help a chiropractor. You're able to give someone a job or a career, which is pretty cool. So I don't know. I keep going back to just raise prices. And then part of me is like, maybe I should do something bigger than this. And it's hard to make that decision. So I was asking him kind of what his goal was.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it all depends. You know, if you're pulling in whatever you're pulling in right now, let's call that X amount per year. Do you feel comfortable with that forever? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if you know, raise your prices a little bit, you could probably, you know, make a little bit more and then not really much more of a headache. And then just get a little bit better at, you know, spending.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
well, I always think like, what am I willing to give up
Mm-hmm.
for what amount of money, right? Like, all right, so if you were telling me I have to give up my freedom, my ability to take off any day I want, my easy life, no employees, no managing people, very simple, and you're going to tell me I'm going to make $5,000 more a month, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, there's probably a number where my mind would change.
Yeah, if it's $35,000 more a month.
Yeah, right. Then like, yeah, I could see that. That would make a lot of sense. But you know, when you get to that level too, you know, that's a lot of stressors in your life. I feel like it's a whole nother ballgame. The only thing I've considered, if I can move into a building, but I own the building and I run the same practice I run right now, but I rent space out to chiropractors, massage therapists, maybe a PT, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I can rent space out to them. They pay my mortgage and I do the same thing. Now I'm making that same amount of money, but I'm also paying off a mortgage. To me, that sounds like that seems like the move.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have an employee. They pay a rent a month. I don't do percentages. I'm not doing any of that. They just pay me a rent. It's cheap for them, so they stay. And then we build this like integrated clinic where everyone's kind of managing themselves, but like paying my equity.
Somehow co-oping and working together is the goal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So my patients wouldn't get a different experience, right? They don't have someone else rooming them now and like putting heat on them. And it's not like a typical chiro office, right?
Chakras are off.
It's the same thing. Like I come in, bring them back, I do all that, my same thing. I'm just in a room in a building. And this time maybe I have like a store up front where I can sell some stuff and make a little bit of money that way. And then I have those people paying off my mortgage. So now I'm building equity and now I have $1 million building when I retire on top of what I've invested, on top of what I've saved, right?
Yep.
To me, that seems like the move over.
I think
because you could do that
real estate play.
Yeah.
Well, you could do that, and then also, if you decide, you can go bigger. You already have the building. You're like, you know what? I'm going to structure this out. I'm going to hire everyone as an employee from now. Like, you can do that, but to start out as not a lot of change to your practice might be the better move for me.
Here's something that this guy mentioned to me, is that he said, and this is what goes back to even like when I was in Sacramento, something that I always thought was, the docs that I worked for would always say, like, why do people go to the chiropractor? To get adjusted, right? That was always their answer. Every single week we'd have meetings and they would say that. And my answer was, they would say, people come to me for me, right? I am the brand, so to speak. They were the brand, so to speak. Like their patients went to them, my patients went to me. It was very rare that they would flip flop between the two of us, but usually just because they went out of town and I happened to be there and no one told them that they were going out of town, and they were just desperate for someone to, adjust them. So I thought that he said that that's probably like one of the bigger challenges that he noticed with seeing other clinics, is that when you're trying to build someone else, and by handing them like your existing patients is like a terrible move, and it shoots like chiropractors in the foot, because you have these dedicated patients that trust you, you built rapport, this long-term relationship, and you're just going to hand them off like that. I don't see myself ever doing such a thing, but he noticed that, and I've noticed that, and I think that that's not a good move, versus like being able to figure out a way to support someone that comes in and say, hey, this is how I built my practice, and this is how you have to build your practice. Like this is how you have to treat that. You're building a practice. Like things don't just fucking fall into place. Like I had a student come and shadow me, and he was looking for a job, and I wasn't in a place to hire him, and we were talking about what he wanted, and he was like, well, I think he's like, I think that $80,000 to $100,000 salary is appropriate. I was like, right on. I would like that too. That would be really, really nice. But what does that mean on your end? How much money do you need to produce in order to make that beneficial for the business? Like, not too many people just have 80K that they can just promise you, or $100,000 that they can promise you, because their business is only pulling in 200. Like, where's that money going to come from? And I don't think a lot of younger doctors understand the concept of how life works outside of school. Like these numbers are very important. Like those are good goals to have. But the reality is that if you want $100,000 off the bat, that means you need to produce 200, if not more.
True. Yeah.
For business. Like that's a
true.
Like that's a lot of patience. Depending on how expensive you are you insurance, like it becomes way more complicated.
Well, the problem with a chiropractor when he graduates is he's worth nothing.
Yeah.
I don't care how good you are if no one knows your name, right? If no one comes to see you, you're not worth anything. You have to build that. Like as a medical doctor, you have the patients. They're already there. They go to the hospital, they see you. You're worth a lot of money right off the get-go. But if you're a chiropractor, even if you're great, but no one sees you, you're worth nothing.
Yeah.
So it's hard for them to, if I was a student and I was trying to be an associate, I would negotiate strictly percentages. I wouldn't try to get that salary, because once you go for that salary, you're saying like, I need guaranteed money because I don't know what I'm going to make, and I don't want to take the risks by doing a percentage to not make anything. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but then the chiropractor's paying for you, right? Like if I pay you 80 grand and you make me 60, you just fucked me.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so I think if I was, going back, if I would come out, I would say, I don't want any base salary. I want 60%, whatever. Right. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do if I was a chiro coming out of school.
Yeah. Or even like a sliding type thing.
Yeah. Like you're paying me 60%, or 40% of what you make, but I'm giving you my overflow. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you half, all the patients I couldn't get in that day, all the new patients that I can't see, you get those. And that's worth a lot of money, because I can take that 2-3 years to build that practice and make it a year for you, mm-hmm. instead of 2 or 3. And that's worth a lot. That's worth 40% at least. But this whole base salary thing, man, I think these young chiros get kind of ahead of themselves. You worked really hard, you want to make money, and you're just not worth anything.
Yeah,
definitely. I think
yeah, it's hard.
Go back to what your scaling conversation, and I'm looking to hire, long story short, either a young PT or a young Cairo. And I've been looking at ways of like seeing if I can set up some sort of associate to independent contractor path where, and it's not, there's no incentives for me to do this as a business owner, but it'd be good for a potential young doc where you come in, you start off as an associate where you have a base salary plus whatever collections, and then there's growth within that if that's all you ever care about or want. If you only want to punch in and punch out 9 o'clock to 9 to 5 or whatever. And then if you also want to, go your own route, there's a way to like transition that into independent contractorship. I've been trying to figure out how to make it work so that myself, the business owner, doesn't just completely get screwed out of, a potential awesome talent that would come through the business that would get trained up by me. And then that would then leave, start their own shit and then leave. That would, that'd be tough for me because then I got to find a new young buck to help fill in that spot. But it'd be really awesome for that young buck that left. So I think there's a somewhere in between. I think there's a blend. And I think there's a way to like kind of revamp the way that like the profession does this whole thing, because like if you don't have an entrepreneurial spirit in you, you're not going to make it trying to go out there and do your own thing. And then you're just going to be stuck in as associate forever for people. And then if you get stuck in the wrong spot, you might get stuck making 50 grand, forever.
Yeah.
And so I think if there's a way to like give a new grad that comfort and security that they need right out the bat, cover their bills, and be like, look, you're going to be fine. And then what are your goals? Like, what are you looking to do? Are you just like looking to like just punch in and punch out, or like do you have like bigger goals and aspirations? And then like what is the best route to like maximize it so that like you get, as the business owner who's going to be putting a lot of like money and equity and work into this young student, how can you get something for your investment, also build up this amazing future chiropractor who's also going to go out there and like kick some ass. And I think like there's a great way to make it work where you both make money. You know what I mean? Where you're not eating your young like what most chiropractors do, which is just working young students or young new grads just into the ground, and just perpetuating the cycle of business owners taking advantage of, yeah, exactly, it's all about me. And I think there's a way to make it work to like have some awesome enthusiastic student with a lot of skill set and a lot of enthusiasm to learn come through your clinic, and you like catapult them to the next level, and they eventually hopefully even leave your clinic, but they leave in like the best awesome potential future doc, and they've like paved the way for the next young generation. I think there's like an awesome blend for both, and I've been trying to really like sitting down and trying to figure out, because I'm looking to hire, and you realize like, dude, you don't want to just hire some like dumb or like some like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs kind of, you know what I mean, kind of chiropractor, or physical therapist. I'm looking for both. I don't really care. I'm just looking for somebody that's like really looking to like learn a lot, understand that they don't know everything coming out of school, and like just really looking to like catapult themselves to the next level post school. You know, a lot of people think when they graduate, the learning's over. And it's like you're looking for that person that can be trained, and that's the easiest kind of person to teach. And what I've realized is like hiring is hard, and like this is probably why like you know, lone wolves like all of us probably just never end up hiring is shit's too hard.
Oh, yeah, it's a tough situation. I don't really know. I'll have to cross that bridge when I get there.
Yeah. It's weird. The problem is it comes and goes where you feel like you're ready to make the move, right? Like
Yeah.
I have days where I turn away 5 people a day, and then all of a sudden I have a bad day, and I'm like, where, you know, like I didn't turn away one person. I was still full maybe, right? But I didn't have an overflow, and I'm like, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard.
And
But then, you know, with online scheduling now, it's hard to tell, right? Because what if 25 people tried to schedule online that day and I had no openings? Like that, I wouldn't know that. I mean, they could put themselves on a waiting list.
Throw themselves on the waiting list.
Yeah, which I see now too. I didn't even know what that was for like the first 3 months. I was like, what are these names? and now at least I know what it is. But yeah, it's hard, man. I don't know what I want to do.
I know.
I mean, it's a good problem to have, right? If that's your biggest worry is whether or not to scale, you're doing something right. But
yeah.
But you know, there's a lot you're gonna have to give up if you want to go big. And you know, I got little one and another little one on the way, and it's like, man, I might want that freedom. I might, you know, see Lindsay's having a rough week, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna cut my day in half on Wednesday, and I'm gonna go in late on Friday to help her out. You know what I mean? And I have the freedom to do that. I'm one click away from scheduling myself a lunch meeting or break. And you know, if you have an employee, you got you're not gonna not be able to pay them, right? You're paying them. They need the hours.
Yeah.
So it's hard. But then there's that sexy side where you're like Tori, dude. You got 3 associates. They're banging out 30 people a day. They're giving you 50% of their money. They're making 100 grand. They're happy. They're giving you 100 grand, and they're making 300 grand before you even show up. You know what I mean? And that's sexy too.
Can't complain.
But yeah, so
a lot to manage.
Pretty nice gig.
Yeah, the problem is you do have to find the right person to hire, right? You want the guy that doesn't want to run their own practice.
Right.
They exist. There's a lot of they're happy. You go, what would make you happy? And like 100 grand. I'm like, all right, we can get you there. I can get you there in a year.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and like you might make 150 and you take home 100. That's fine. I'll do all your business. I'll do all your taxes. You'll be good to go. You show up, and then you work your 9 to 5 or whatever you want. Take your vacation whenever you want, and we make this thing work, and I make your life easy. But you know, those are hard to find. There's not a lot of chiropractors moving to Reno. You know, you might get 1 a year, 2 a year.
So or like one that
can be hard to find.
Aligns with like the way that you think about things.
Yeah. Or one that says they do, right? I just want to be an employee, and then they're there for 5 years and they're crushing it, and they're like, I want more.
Yeah.
Right. Like now, okay, well, now are we going to have you buy into a partnership, or you know what I mean? Like, it's hard. Just a lot of moving parts and a lot of stress, and
all about like what you want, you know. And then it's like, this is what I want, and what I want or is based on what I need, and let's say what I want is X amount of money, and right now, no matter what, unless I raise my prices like a fucking crazy amount, the only way to get to X, you know what I mean? Let's say I'm 20, or let's say I'm 70% there. Fuck, man. You know what I mean? That's a long ways away. That means like, fuck, it's time to scale. Versus like, I'm 90% there.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like more like a spending thing. Then it's like, look, it's more about like cutting back on bullshit.
Well, that's a good point. The way I look at that too is, you know, I could probably get to where I make over 300 grand in a gym, right? With a very low overhead. And like, if that's not enough, is that me? Or is that the amount of money?
That's what I mean. Do you know what I mean?
Right? Like, do I need more money or just to stop blowing money?
Right.
Like, if I can't live off 300 grand,
right.
What the fuck am I doing? How am I spending my money, man? Maybe I should revisit that.
And that's my whole point.
You know, Damir, you're a big investor, right? Like maybe you make an extra 50 grand and that 50 grand in the market makes you an extra 50 grand.
Right.
And that's right, you're making money in the market instead of making money off associates.
So I think it's
sexy
like
too.
It's so easy to get caught up in Sundays I have what I call like my just reflecting day. And it's like I just step out of my day-to-day, my week-to-week, my month-to-month, my like, hey, it's another Monday. All right, Mondays I work 8 to 2, and then I work out, and then I go pick up Olivia. You know what I mean? And you just get like lost in your regular scheduled life, versus like really thinking about like, all right, where I'm at this week, where I'm at this month, where I'm at this quarter, where I'm at this, the first half of the year, where I'm at this year, what am I looking at for the following year, where am I looking at down the year, and I think it's just like constantly important to pull yourself out of like, hey, if I started my own job, if I started my own thing, what's the point of this? Like, do I have a goal? Like, is it like to make a certain amount of money? Is it like to save a certain amount of money? Is it to have a certain amount of freedom in my schedule? What is it? Am I getting there? Am I not getting there? What are my steps to get there? And it's like constantly like forcing myself to like reflect on, because it's like I suffer so much from like easily just falling into the day to day. And so like I have to have like a set time to like pull myself out of the matrix and be like, all right, reanalyze where you at. It's already March 7th, 2023. Where you at? What are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or did you let the first quarter go by?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Get going. You know what I mean? Like stop with like the bullshit. Like it's easy to like get caught day to day. Like always have a plan. You're the captain. You know what I mean? Sail the fucking boat.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah.
You know what tomorrow is, Chris?
No.
March 8th.
I don't know what that is.
It's my daughter's birthday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Chris.
Yeah.
I couldn't have told you. I can barely tell you how old is your daughter too? That's how much I know. All right.
Dude.
Is she 11?
I barely know my own daughter's birthday. I look at my calendar when someone asks me. I'm like, fuck, it's one of these 2 days.
Yeah. I text Lindsay.
Yeah, those are good points.
Yeah.
I think it is easy to fall into that little trap that you're talking about, Damir. So I'm over with the Premier Fitness guys. Like they're constantly learning these, like always open-minded to like new things, revamping, redoing, and finding new ways to like kind of not necessarily like I want to say like scale their business, but like more of like finding new ways and opportunities to make business work for them. Like they have so many strengths, like Greg, for instance, has started this new project. He's calling it Project Airway, right? So he's using himself as the primary example. He's struggled with a lot of issues in regards to like chronic fatigue, tongue tie issues. He got a SARPI surgery, and he's been recording the whole entire process and talking about airflow. That's what got me into doing that nasal release technique course, is because of his big curiosity into it. And that, we've been talking about maybe doing that course, and I've been seeing it a lot throughout the past couple of years. Like maybe I should be able to like offer something like that if it seems necessary. And he really pushed me into that this past day. By the way, did you call that lady, Chris?
No, I need to. When's the seminar?
The 21st.
Okay. I should have time. I should have time tomorrow. I'll call her.
Yeah, give her a call.
You just pay over the phone, or what do you do?
I just Zelled her. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just Zelled her. And she'll send you everything you need. But like those guys, they're like looking like the way that they kind of approach that stuff. I think it's really cool. Like they have a very similar approach to all of us. But not becoming monotonous and not continuously learning, growing, becoming a stronger leader, whatever you want to call it. Like they're just constantly chasing that kind of stuff. And I think it's important. It's what keeps you young.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that do that are people that aren't busy.
Really? No, they're busy, dude.
Right? Like with the goal of being busy. Like what's their goal for members? Do you know?
They don't necessarily want more members because they're like one-on-one, two-on-one kind of people.
Oh, I got you. They're trying to like scale differently.
They're scaling differently. Yeah. So like their like online presence is pretty large. Like the opportunities that they have in regards to other worlds, like let's call it like Instagram, YouTube, you name it. They were getting pretty big on YouTube. That's actually how I first fucking found them, was through YouTube back in 2015. I used to send one of their trainers videos to patients when I lived in Sacramento. Because
I mean, surrounding yourself with those type of people is really good.
Yeah, like they used to do all those RI videos, and they just did a nice job. So I'd like tell patients like, hey, do this. This guy's doing a good job of explaining how to put yourself in the right spot. Funny enough, I ended up working side by side with them, which is pretty cool. But they, like the people they work with is extremely high level. So the opportunities that they have I wouldn't want to say like they don't take advantage of the situation, but they have an opportunity somewhere to make that like showcase and have more buy-in for maybe like other trainers or honestly therapists can really learn a lot from them. And we talk so much about that because about us starting the seminar stuff, their experience in the seminar world, and talking about like how they're creating courses and all these things to make things work for them and not have to do the same thing to make more money kind of situation, right?
Yeah, I get it. I guess my point is like the most successful people I know you never hear about.
Yeah.
Right? Like unless you built your empire online, but the busiest chiropractors aren't posting online, right? They don't have time. But when you see guys like that who have these systems in place where everyone has their role and they do that, it's kind of motivating to have those people around you because it motivates you to do that little thing. You know what I mean? That little extra that like, all right, what am I doing today to get better? Seeing guys like the double edge is the same way, like I'll see them do little things. I'm like, I need to sign up for a continuing ed seminar. Like I need to keep my shit sharp. I need to make sure I'm still working here. Can't get lazy. Can't get comfortable. There's always be that next person that does that next thing, and then you'll be behind. There's chiropractors that are 60-year-olds doing the same shit they did fucking 30 years ago. And I could never be that person. That would drive me insane.
Yeah, same here.
100%.
All right. I think it's a good place to cut it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Gotta go do my 75 hard walk.
Yeah, go for your 75 hard walk, Chris.
Go do your cold shower.
Yeah, don't forget
to that. I don't sign up for that part.
Oh, that's 75 plus. You haven't made it there.
Yeah. Nope. Phase 1, cold showers. That's when I'll quit.
Dude, I tried it this morning and I last like 12 seconds.
Oh, if you want to see me being the biggest bitch on the planet, put me in a cold anything. I get mad at my wife when the fucking heater's low. What the hell is that heater at?
It's funny.
Yeah.
Like if I like slowly ease into the cold, I can go longer. But if I just go straight to cold, it's literally like.
Yeah. I only do cold when I just got out of a sauna or hot tub and I'm dying of heat. Then I can get into cold till my body temperature is back to normal. Then I'm out.
Dude, I'm surprised. I'm the one that lives in Arizona, and I can go into those cold plunges, and I mean it sucks. It's hard, but I can do it, and I get fully
do a cold shower.
Cold shower,
it's my nightmare.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. I'm not a psycho.
Yeah,
cold's my nightmare.
It's so hard.
No, I take really warm showers. Very warm, very comfortable.
All right, boys.
Yeah.
All right. See you,
All right.
boys.
Good luck to
Later.
Dan. Hopefully he's